What is up, guys? Today we're gonna do a tier list about the restricted in the Series 10. I mean, we did a tier list before in Series 8, so let's see how things changed, but I'm really excited. Okay, here we are. Do you guys remember this tier list? I think most of you do. This was our Series 8 tier list. Before we played Series 8, it was like at the end of Series 7, but we knew that there was Series 8 coming, so we made a tier list. I think it's been like a couple months already, but this is definitely not the tier list for Series 10. No way it is. I'm gonna start from the bottom because I feel like that's the easiest. So those guys were in the no tier, and I feel like they stay there because no matter if we have Dynamax or we don't have Dynamax, they're just sad creatures for competitive Pokemon. I mean, they're cute for sure, but they don't have a place in competitive Pokemon. E tier, I think, stays the same as well. I don't see those three guys being better just because there's no Dynamax anymore. If something, they would have been better because of Dynamax, because you could max them, right? But other than that, I think they stay in E tier. Giratina was our only D tier back then. If I remember correctly, I lost to one Giratina on stream. I don't remember what exactly it was, but I remember losing to one. I don't know if it was this one or the other one. I feel like one is holding an item and the other one is not. But Giratina is still... I mean, the good thing about Giratina is we don't have Dragapult anymore, so it is not super afraid of Max Phantasms or Max Phantasms from Spectre, but I feel like it's still somehow D tier, right? Like, I don't see it moving up just because we don't have Dynamax anymore. It might. Actually, I might put it to... No, it's D tier. D tier is fine. I think it's time to do a first move, like either up or down, and it's Xerneas. I'm gonna play an Xerneas team today as well. I feel like this mon is so incredibly good without Dynamax. I'm not gonna put it in S tier, but I'm gonna move it up to A tier. Like, this Pokemon is incredibly good in my opinion, and without Dynamax, you can even play it with Cosmic Power, Toxic, Recover. It has Meteor Beam, it has an amazing typing. Like that, you wouldn't play Dynamax Cannon anymore because nothing is gonna max. But it still does like 100 base, right? And if you don't want drawback from Draco Meteor, I think Dynamax Cannon is pretty good. But otherwise, this Pokemon in my opinion is A tier. We're gonna play tournament today with Xerneas, so we'll see how that one goes. But I really believe in this Pokemon. Rayquaza, I think it belongs in C tier. I might even move it down to D tier because I don't think this Pokemon is good. Actually, I'm gonna start from S tier. I think that's easier. Zacian, incredible Pokemon, even without Dynamax. I feel like it's even better because it has less opponents or less threats, right? Like, back then, your opponents could Dynamax, so let's say you wanna KO a Incin with Close Combat or Sacred Sword because you're at +2 or 3, and the Incin just maxes on you, you could still drop immediately, right? Like, if you don't expect the max, I feel like Zacian can really get caught off guard. But now that there's no Dynamax, I feel like this Pokemon is even stronger. And it's, in my opinion, probably the best Pokemon in the format right now. So this is definitely S tier. Look at Kyogre. Kyogre is incredible. Not much to say. Like, if Zacian is the best Pokemon, I feel like Kyogre is close to being the best one. I don't see it moving at all. It's still S tier. It's just like, it's a Pokemon that can win games on its own, right? Like, if you have your opponent in a weird spot and you just max, you don't max. You Moana Spot or Origin Pulse or Scald. The only thing that makes Kyogre a little bit worse, I think, is that White Guard is way more potent right now because we don't have max. So White Guard is actually a really good move. So you kind of limited to use Scald, I think, for a good Kyogre set. Like, I can't see Origin Pulse plus Water Spout being good out of Kyogre with so much White Guard going on because you don't want to get trapped, right? If you're playing a super offensive team and you have Feint support, maybe it's good. But other than that, I feel like Scald isn't mandatory right now. Okay, our first move into the bottom tiers is the Yveltal. There's no way it's S tier. I've played a little bit, like we played like 2 or 3 not room tours. We played like, I think 3 letter tours. I played a bit on Showdown. I had some sets with friends. And we all agreed that Yveltal is not an S tier, Yveltal is not an A tier. Yveltal is actually B tier. I'm really surprised that I say this because at the beginning of Series 8, I felt like Yveltal is going to be such a great Pokemon because there was no Xerneas, right? And I feel like that's like a rule of thumb. The better Xerneas is, the worse Yveltal gets, and the worse Zekrom gets, and Palkia gets, and all the other Dragon get. So, yeah, I just can't see Yveltal making it out of B tier. Like, it's not even A tier, it's just B tier in my opinion. Even though, of course, it's good against Shadow Rider, right? It's kind of good against Kyogre as well. It's good against Groudon. It's good against Duskbane. It's kind of good against Eternatus as well if you're running like Assault Vest or if you have the right support means. I just refuse to put this Pokemon in A tier because I can't see it winning a big tournament. Let's see, Xerneas. You guys know that I put it in A tier at the beginning of Series 8, but I don't agree with that anymore. I felt like Xerneas, because like I was used to Xerneas from VGC 16, I was used to Xerneas from Sun Series, Moon Series, Ultra Series. It was one of the best Pokemons ever, so I didn't know how limiting it would be for Xerneas to play in a Dynamics meta. So that was like the lesson I learned, that Xerneas, if I had to do the Series 8 tier list again, Xerneas would probably be B tier or even C tier, because I've not seen a single good Xerneas team in the entire Series 8 format. But right now, I think Xerneas is... I'm gonna put it in S tier. Xerneas is S tier, I think. There are really good teams so far, completely dedicated to Xerneas, like with Volcarona, a lot of fake out, redirection. Volcarona is redirection if you look at this, but there are still other redirectors, like Incin, Amoonguss, Xerneas, Volcarona, an Urshifu if you need it, and Steel or whatever. I feel like Xerneas will win a lot of tournaments. I don't know if it already did win some tournaments, but it's just incredible. So Xerneas is definitely S tier. Going next, we actually skipped Shadow Rider. We could put Shadow Rider in S tier because it's really threatening. There are really good teams with Shadow Rider, but I think it's not S tier, dude. If there was a tier between S and A tier, I would put it there, 100%. But I can't see it being as good as Xerneas, as good as Kyogre, and as good as Zacian. You guys might not agree. The thing is, there are a lot of Shadow Rider teams right now, right? It invalidates a lot of Pokemon, such as Duskmane, Ice Rider, what else? Like a lot of cool Pokemon, such as Lunala as well, or the Dawnwings version. But I don't know, like if I had to put it, it's actually either bottom S tier or high A tier. And I feel like I'm gonna put it in A tier, guys. High A tier. I don't see it being as good as Xerneas because it's pretty easy to kind of counter Shadow Rider, right? Like Shadow Rider depends on its partners to actually deal with any dark type. Like put an Assault Vest Instant on your team that survives close combat from Yanshao and your opponent has a problem. So yeah, I don't think this Pokemon is, I mean, it's a great Pokemon. It's one of the best restricted, but it's just not S tier in my opinion. Going to Ice Rider because it's the next Pokemon. I feel like Ice Rider is, it could be A tier because it has a great move, right? It has great bulk. You can still play it with weakness policy, like next to something like Dusclops, you just Shadow Sneak it, and then you do damage. You can play it with Brutal Swing. Like there were a lot of things in Series 8, but I feel like with the threat of Intimidate being everywhere and no ability to max, I feel like this Pokemon moves down to B tier, unfortunately. But like I play a lot as well, and I've not seen a single good Ice Rider team, so I feel like it stays here. So Groudon was a little bit weird, to be honest. Like at the beginning of Series 8, I felt Groudon is A tier, but then throughout the entire Series 8, I felt Groudon is not A tier. It's definitely B tier. But then I brought it to Players Cup 3. I don't know why. Like it got better. Like stuff like Zacian got better. Like if you play well with the Groudon, I feel like it's a really good counter to Kyogre teams. It's still I think it stays A tier. I think it's really good. I could put it in B tier, but like having pre-blades, even though there's White Guard, I feel like it's really good. Like it's good against Zacian, it's good against Eternatus, it's good against Kyogre if you're in the right weather. So I feel like I think it stays at A. Putting it next to Shadow Rider is probably a little bit sus, I guess. Because like both being A tier, I don't know if I would agree with that as a viewer, but I feel like Groudon is being used super much, right? Like it has a Heat Crash, which just one hit KOs Rillabooms. It does an insane amount of damage to everything that's not resisting it. Like if you're hitting it super effectively and the Pokemon is way lighter than you are, most of the time it just goes down. Like even Kartana and Rain, I think, goes down to Heat Crash. Yeah, like P-Blade's accuracy is really bad. That's why I played with White Lance. But I agree that White Lance is not the best item if you wanna I don't know, like Citrus or something like that is probably more valuable than White Lance, because like we played White Lance on stream and I missed like how many times? 4 or 5 times. But I think I still agree that White Lance is good. I think on Groudon, I still like it. But yeah, I think AT Groudon is pretty good. Duskmane. Okay, so we tested Duskmane. I think the team was really good. I don't know if you guys agree, we had a really rough time against good Calyrex Shadow Rider teams. But other than that, I really liked the Duskmane team. I'm not going to play today because I prepared on the Thanatos team, but it's not A tier for sure. It's like B tier. I think I'm confident to put it in the same tier as Yveltal. And then I don't think there's much we can do here. Like Ho-Oh is B tier, it's pretty good. Palkia stays at B tier. I don't think they change just because we don't have Dynamax anymore. Because I can see good Dialga teams, I can see good Palkia teams, I can see good Ho-Oh teams, but they're just not A tier, right? Like you have to waste a lot of resources, you have to depend on your matchups. Like if you play Palkia team, you have to hope that you face all the Groudons, all the Kyogres, and all the, I don't know, Shadow Riders if you play Assault Vest. But yeah, like I don't see these moving up or down because like I refuse to put it in the same tier as Rayquaza, for example. Dialga is still B tier, I think it's pretty solid. Here's one mon I believe a lot in, which is the Zygarde. I'm not gonna put it in A tier, but I think that Zygarde can be really good. Like I'm gonna put it in high B tier because I really like Zygarde. Now that we don't have Dynamax, I feel like this Pokemon can really shine because it can still change forms, right? If it's like, I don't know when exactly it changes, but like there were a lot of good Zygarde teams in the past. The bad thing is Finny was its best partner with Swagger, and now Finny doesn't get Swagger. And there was one other move. I think it was E-Speed that they took away from it, but other than that, I feel like this Pokemon is still really good. Like I've even seen cool teams in Series 8 with this team, with this Pokemon, even though we had Dynamax, right? So I feel like this Pokemon might even be really not centralizing one, but at some point in the metagame, I feel like there will be good teams, and you will need your matchup against this. Otherwise, you're gonna lose. But other than that, like Solgaleo is pretty good. Zekrom is not bad. Like with Zekrom, you rely on playing against Kyogre, right? A lot. Even Zekrom, if the Zacian has something like Play Rough, it's really rough. But if they don't, like most of them don't, I think you have a really good time against Zacian as well. But I would let those guys be in B tier. Lunala I can see making it a little bit higher because I feel like Shadow Shield next to Screens or Redirection can be really good, and you can even actually play it with Finny, Misty Seed, so you take every single Helping Hand Asu Barrage. Unless they're specs, but other than that, you take that from Calyrex Shadow Rider. I think Lunala will be pretty good. Like I've seen some cool teams as well, like Meteor Beam, not even expanding for it. Like you have White Guard, you have Protect, Trick Room, and like a lot of teams right now I feel like are really weak to Trick Room. So if there's a right time to play a good Lunala team, it would probably be now. But yeah, Reshiram, still pretty decent, I would say. Like it hits really hard, it's good against Zacian if they don't have Play Rough. Even if they do, it's still not super effective. And Kyurem, I think Kyurem White is still a good Pokemon. Like in the right position, it has Earthpower, it has Draco Meteor, and you can KO a lot of Pokemon, right? I think it gets Grass Knot as well. I'm not 100% sure, but this Pokemon is still very scary. Like if you don't have a Kyurem matchup, you will lose if you're up against it, right? Ray, I don't see it moving up. It might even move down because like I thought that with Dynamax it might be cool, like next to Weakness Policy like Ice Shard set, but I don't know if I want to move it down. No, I think C tier is fine. Lugia C tier is also fine. I don't think that it's getting a lot of buffs or nerfs at all through Dynamax. There is Mewtwo, which I think it's still kind of decent, like with Expanding Force next to Psychic Terrain. I think it still hits really hard, but like I can't justify put it in the same tier as Ho-Oh or Necrozma or Kyurem or Yveltal, right? So I feel like this stays the same. And then we have Zamasunta. Okay, so I had a lot of hopes in Zamasunta, otherwise I would have put it in D tier at the beginning of Series 8, but right now I feel like since it doesn't have a partner to boost, I don't like this Pokemon. You're gonna waste your restricted slot to, I don't know, hole or go for coachings. It learns White Guard as far as I know, but I feel like it's just not a good Pokemon to justify running. So I'm gonna put it in D tier. I might be wrong, like we'll see. Time will tell what happens throughout Series 10, but I feel like this Pokemon is worse than Rayquaza for sure. I feel like Pure Black stays the same. Dawnwings, if you can build a good Dawnwings team with a lot of hate against Yveltal or Lunala or Shadow Rider, I think you will have a good time because this Pokemon is actually really good. I like it a lot, but you have to waste a lot of resources, right, to make it work. So I can't see it being super good. So yeah, this entire C tier I think stays the same otherwise, and I think we are finished. Like these stay the same. I'm really looking forward to what happens throughout Series 10. Like if I look back, we saw the tier list how it was at the beginning of Series 8. So now that I look back with what I think about the mons after Series 8, I feel like I made some mistakes. As I said, like I misjudged Xerneas. I made a mistake with Yveltal. I think it was also not S tier in Series 8, but back then Joe was in my chat, so maybe I did it because of Joe. But otherwise, I feel like this is my tier list if I had to sign one. So yeah, hope you guys liked it. I think this will be on YouTube as well, so if you guys see this, please make sure to leave a like, follow the channel, and yeah, see you guys soon.